Okay, hello there everyone and welcome back to another PHP tutorial. So in the previous video we talked about the classes and how a class is a blueprint for a data structure that you create or a data type that you create kind of. And it consists of a number of properties or variables that represent the information that's important to define the object or the information that you want to store in order to process, and a number of functions here that are called methods. Okay, and we created two objects in here. The first one is a person called John Smith, and the second one is Michael Jackson. So today we are going to take a very simple, we are going to add a very simple thing, which is something called a constructor. Now, from its name, a constructor's job is to construct an object. It is just a function that is being called as soon as the object is created. You don't have to type its name, you just call it. So let's have a look here. First, here we are creating the object and then we fill its content. Same here, we're creating the object, we fill its content. Well, now we are going to create a constructor that will fill the object as soon as it is created. Very straightforward. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to create a function. Because of that, we are going to write function. And then we write underscore construct. And we open this one and we pass the parameters first and last. And now what's gonna happen here, we are just gonna make the same code for setting the first name and the last name. Very straightforward without any problem. Okay, so now let us go to the code and refresh things. So what happened here? I didn't do anything. I just added this constructor. I didn't do anything in here. So let's read the error to identify what the problem is. Uncaught argument count error. Uncaught meaning that this error has not been caught. So you didn't put the code in try catch. So PHP doesn't know what to do. This is why it's showing this error. And what the error is, argument count error, meaning these are called arguments. Okay, so we have two arguments here, we have no arguments here, so this is 0 argument. This is 1, 2 argument, this is 1, 2 argument. So it's saying that one of the functions is being called and you are passing 0 arguments. So if you think about it, we said a constructor is used to construct an object or initialize it. So here you are creating the object. Since this is a constructor for that object, this means that this function will be called right away. Because of this, these parameters must be filled. So how many parameters being passed in here? 0 parameters. How many parameters is being expected in this function? 2 parameters. And this is why we are getting the error. So if we go back, it's going to say too few arguments to function parsing construct. We didn't write the function, but we didn't call the function explicitly, but saying here construct, parsing construct. So it's calling construct function. 0 passed, and it's giving you the file name and the line in which the error is, which is line 26. So I'm gonna do a few changes. One of the ways to solve this issue is to pass 2 empty parameters, okay, and keep the rest of the code. Now we could do the same thing in here. Okay, so I solved the problem, but I didn't make use of the constructor. I'm just passing empty values. Okay, so let me show you. It's working, right? But basically, we didn't solve the issue. Okay, now let's make use of this function, or maybe let's see what's happening first, and then we'll make use of it. So let's go here and let's debug the code. Okay, so now it's going to start debugging, and I will refresh. Okay. Yeah. So here, I'll put a breakpoint. Okay. For some reason, the machine is extremely slow. F11. Come on. Wow. This is weird. Okay, let's have a task manager. Performance. What is going on? Okay, now it's working. Okay, for some reason, debugging didn't work. So let me run this, right? And now refresh again. This is a problem. What? Ooh, super weird. Anyway. Very sorry about this, guys. It seems that Xdebug is having issues for some reason. Okay, so now the code start working again. Anyway, so here the first line of code is going to get executed. So we are creating the person object. Okay, and if I press F11, you can see that construct is being called. Now first is empty string and last or the second parameter is empty string, so nothing's passed here. Okay, and now we're gonna call set name. So you can see we didn't make use of this one. Okay, and again constructor, then set name, and so on. So we didn't make use of this one. To solve this, we are going to, well, pass the parameters through the constructor like this. No need to call set name. And this one, we pass it like this. No need to call set name again. So we save the code and now, oops, we refresh. So you can see now the code works and it's a little bit, I think, more readable. So we create the object and initialize it with the parameters like this, right? And print it later, no problem. So very straightforward. Now we are gonna make something, a little trick. What if you don't want to provide all the parameters right away? Let's say you have z equal new person Linda, and you don't know the last name. So one of the ways to solve the issue is to pass an empty string. Okay, and then we would say print right. Very straightforward. So I'm gonna call this function and pass the first parameter Linda and the last name, or second parameter empty string. So we refresh and it's okay, that's fine. However, I still have to pass a parameter. Now what if I have a function that receives 5 or 6 or 7 parameters and I don't want to write each parameter every time? Well, we can do this simple trick. Inside a function, in the function definition, uh, when I say function definition, it's this first line. You could put an initial value. So in this case, I'm gonna say this one, a default value, not initial. This is a default value, and this is a default value. Now, what does that mean? If in my code I pass this parameter in here, this will be filled with the value I passed. However, if I do this, if I don't pass the second parameter, the value written in here will be used instead. Okay, this won't trigger an error, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna save this one and let me show you it's working. Now see how many parameters I'm passing here. It's one parameter, but how many parameter is being expected? 2. However, this is an optional parameter and this is an optional parameter, right? In fact, if I do this and refresh, it works. And first and last are being used in this case. So to make things a little bit more clear, I'm going to change the value from empty string to unknown first name. Okay, this is only for us to know what's happening, and I'm going to say unknown last name. And now I'm going to refresh. So we have unknown first name, unknown last name. As you can see here, very straightforward. Now I'm going to change this to Linda. Okay. Oops. And I save and refresh. So we have Linda and unknown last name. Actually, you can also do this. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if this one, no, it doesn't work. Yeah, so I have to pass the first parameter, and then when Hamilton, and I save, I refresh. Okay, so now it's working. So this makes a constructor very powerful because you could pass 0 parameters. In this case, we could pass 0 parameter, 1 or 2 parameters, whatever whatever value we have, we can use it, right? And it is very straightforward. Okay, so yeah, so basically what we have done here is create a constructor that could store the first name or the first and last name of an object. So I'm gonna just do this, pass 1 parameters and make sure that the parameters are empty. I don't want these values to appear to the end user. So now I'm gonna refresh. We have Linda and that's it. So yeah, very straightforward. And yeah, so this one has optional parameters. However, this one must be provided with all the parameters, and this one doesn't need a parameter at all. So to recap what we have learned today, we can have constructors that are used to initialize the object right away, and they are called automatically, and we could provide optional parameters if we say that these are optional to make coding a little bit easier, as in this example. So I think that will be all for today. I hope you find this useful, and see you tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.